Hello and welcome everyone. I am Deepali Khetrapal. I am a teacher, mentor, and an NLP practitioner. I am here to discuss with you certain core values which may seem small but play an important role in achieving success in life. Do hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss upcoming episodes. We will be discussing the meaning of these values through various examples and stories and how we can imbibe these values and make them a part of our life. Let me tell you a story. One day, a king visited the forest. He felt thirsty during the journey. He looked around and saw a blind old man's hut. He could see a water-filled pitcher from distance. The king sent one of his soldiers to get a glass of water. The soldier went to the hut and ordered, "Hey, blind man, give me a glass of water." The old man was arrogant. He said, "Go away. I'm not afraid of soldiers like you. I will not give you water." The soldier got disappointed and returned empty-handed. Next, the commander was sent to bring water. The commander said to the blind man, "Hey, blind man, give me water and I will give you some money." The blind man replied, "This one seems to be the boss of the previous person. That's why he's tempting me with money. Go away, I will not give you water." Seeing the commander failing to complete the task, the king himself decided to ask the blind man for water. He greeted the old man and requested, "I'm feeling thirsty. I would be highly obliged if you could provide me some water." The blind man respectfully welcomed the king in his hut and said, "My lord, it's my honor to have a supreme being like yourself in my hut. I'm always available for your service. Please let me know in case you require anything else." The king quenched his thirst with the cold water and asked the blind man politely, "You can't see anything. Then how did you identify the soldier, commander, and king?" The blind man replied, "A person can be identified with the behavior of his speech. Greatly people are always modest." Modesty refers to not being too proud or confident about one's achievements and abilities. If a very successful person is very unassuming and down to earth about his accomplishments, we call him modest. Modest can also refer to an amount or level. It can refer to a limited amount or level. For example, the phrase modest income refers to a small income. Modest can also be used to refer to attire and propriety. In this sense, modest is equal to decent. Let's understand these meanings with the help of these sentences. He is very modest about his achievements. They live on a modest budget. Despite coming from a very wealthy background, he was very modest. Don't be so modest about your success. We've all encountered someone who's the opposite of modest. They go on and on about their accomplishments. They constantly one up everyone. They have to have the biggest and best of everything. Someone who is modest, on the other hand, doesn't feel the need to show off to others, even if they do have a lot to brag about. The good news is that anyone can become more modest. It just comes down to cultivating the right attitude and being more mindful of how you present yourself and interact with others. If you're not sure where to get started, don't worry. Let's walk you through some simple changes you can make to start becoming a more modest person. Have a healthy, realistic impression of yourself. Being modest begins with how you see yourself and your place in the world. By being aware of your own strengths and weaknesses, you can avoid the pitfalls of arrogance and start to live more modestly. Try to see yourself the way others see you by asking your closest friends how they perceive you. Ask about both the good and the bad, and let your friends know you'd like a fair and honest assessment. Acknowledge your good qualities and your positive accomplishments, but don't let these things inflate your ego or define your life. Seek out advice and constructive criticism. A modest person is defined by his or her humility. If you're trying to live more modestly, you should accept the fact that you do not know everything about yourself and that you may need advice and guidance from others. Accept that you may be wrong from time to time. Remember that there's nothing wrong with this. No one is perfect and no one can be right all of the time. Don't interrupt when someone is criticizing you or giving you advice. You may be tempted to defend yourself, but by listening actively, you'll learn a great deal about yourself. Don't dismiss the criticism others offer you. but don't accept or believe it all at face value. Ask other people who know you if they've noticed similar patterns of behavior and assess your need to improve while keeping your ego in check. Resist the urge to brag about yourself. Another facet of humility is personal restraint. Modest people do not brag about their wealth or accomplishments, and they don't let these things define them. That doesn't necessarily mean that you should hide anything about yourself, it simply means that you shouldn't boast about anything. Telling a new acquaintance in conversation about something significant that you have done isn't necessarily bragging if it is relevant to the conversation. Telling someone about your accomplishments repeatedly or reminding someone who already knows about them could be seen as bragging. Accept compliments without an ego. A modest person should not let compliments get to his or her head. You can accept a compliment graciously, but you should not let it feed you into your ego or make you think that you are better than others. Recognize that everyone has strengths and weaknesses, but don't let those qualities define you or anyone else. If someone compliments one of your strengths, you can practice being modest by thanking that person and complimenting them on one of their strengths. Strive for selflessness. A modest person puts the needs of others ahead of his or her own needs. That doesn't mean forcing yourself to suffer, it simply means being considerate of others and fostering a desire to help others in some way. Be kind to others and think about whether their needs are being met. You may find that it is ultimately more important and more rewarding to elevate others than to try to elevate yourself. Live within your means. The key to living a modest lifestyle is living within your means. That means avoiding extravagance and settling for the basics. You don't have to deprive yourself to live modestly. You just have to value function and practicality over luxurious status symbols. Drive a car that is safe, comfortable, and works well. Don't choose a car for its flashiness or status value. Buy or rent a home that is sturdy, comfortable, and a safe neighborhood. If you only need 2 bedrooms, then don't rent or buy a place with 3 bedrooms. Try not to worry about whether others are impressed. Living modestly and humbly means emphasizing your values ahead of the opinion of others. Don't trouble yourself wondering whether others are impressed with you or with your possessions. Instead, focus on living a meaningful and upstanding life. Use language that is positive and uplifting. Modest speech means refraining from using negative language. Instead, a modest speaker should strive to be a positive role model for others and should try to make others feel happy. Ask yourself whether the things you say would inspire and uplift others or make them feel uncomfortable or upset. We can be modest and confident at the same time. To be able to do that, you must strike a balance in a way that your confidence replaces your insecurities. Try to learn how to receive compliments and to acknowledge your mistakes, fluctuating back and forth between legitimate confidence and humility about what you need to learn more. The feature of modesty that has most captivated philosophers is its elusive nature. It seems as though knowing that you're modest somehow spoils it. The modest person, it seems, must be unaware of their own modesty. Modesty can seem to be a kind of ethical blind spot. If you have it, you won't know it. And if you seem to know you have it, you probably don't really. This is your friend Deepali signing off. Stay tuned, keep smiling. God bless.